Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Michael, and that's Luke, and this is We Are the Game. Today, we're going to be talking about the legendary game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals. A lot of things happened in that game. History was made multiple times. It should be very interesting, somewhat painful to talk through and go over. I thought it was very interesting, in particular in the first half. San Francisco kind of came out of the gate and got on the board early, and then just kind of kept up a lot of heavy momentum, I felt like, in the first half. And it put Arizona in a category that I thought would be like, there's no hope here, which was, hey, we can't be balanced. We've got to have a pass it. We've got to just pass the ball 60 times today, which turned out to be a wild circus ride of adventure. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the insane first half and how that built up the rest of the game?
Oh, what happened? That's a great question. We're still not, I don't think we're completely sure yet. I mean, it started off with the bang where we gave them a 1 yard drive. And normally you think, you held their drive to 1 yard. That's really good. But it wasn't, because they started at hour one. And so that's good. Yeah. So there were talks already this season with some people of maybe Jeff Rodgers, our special teams coach, who was actually here with the last, regime is the word that tends to use, the previous coaching staff, and he survived that culling or whatever you want to call it, and so he's been here, and we're like, yeah, that's the end of that probably, because he's really not good on either element. Like our kickoff returns are not lethal, our punt returns are okay. Greg Dortch does a pretty good job. You feel like if he gets enough of them, he'd probably return one, and that's good. They don't make tons of super duper errors, like guys just dropping them, but nothing about it is good. And as you can see, our defense against those things is underwhelming. So that wasn't great. We missed a couple of opportunities to keep the game a little closer earlier on, missed field goals and things like that. It was just a lot of things. And I don't even know that this game is really so much of this enormous difference between first half and second half, so much as the inevitable happened in the second half. They started playing prevent. They're already not a team that gets a lot of pass rush. We got to get into the records at some point. You may as well just jump right into them. There were a lot of dubious records that got set in this game. So Jacoby Brissett now has the single game completions record. And you might be wondering, like, well, for this year? It's like, no, literally forever. Well, not forever, but for all past years. I could have named 100 guys, maybe 1,000 players that I can't name 1,000 players. But before, I would have thought Jacoby Brissett would have that particular record. Even amongst quarterbacks, he's kind of been known as a game manager. He's got okay. So that one's pretty.
Well, and you heard his thoughts on it.
No, actually, I didn't.
Were not. His thoughts on it were not. He was not impressed at all. He was like, I couldn't care less.
No, he lost by 20 points. No, of course he doesn't care. He's a good guy.
Yep. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so so that there was that. Cardinals set an individual record just for the Cardinals on most penalties ever accepted in one game. It's 17. I have all kinds of weird thoughts there about the officiating, but ultimately it is what it is at this point. So it was just a messy game. I want to turn on a little light, and you're gonna just have to see me change my light.
But I think the other big, I don't want to say unbelievable, but maybe unexpected, was here we go into that game. Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to play. And it's like, well, good luck, Trey. And I hope one of your other wide receivers shows up. And all of a sudden, Michael Wilson turns into George Pickens. And that's who he reminded me of. Like, he had moments where he was playing possession. He had moments where he was elusive. He was all over the place. I think he had 15 catches, 185 yards. That's pretty wild. And I think, not that it's a record, but it's a who holds the lead thing, right? You were telling me that earlier. Isn't that the most yards by any receiver
this year?
It's another thing that's unexpected, highly unexpected coming out of this game. I would have been happy if he had a 100-yard game. I'd have been like, way to go, champ. But this was particularly unexpected. I was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah, no, it was. I am happy for him. You know, Michael Wilson, this is year 3, I want to say, of his rookie contract. So this is the prove it year, if you hadn't already proven it, to try to get paid.
Yeah.
So any bump like this that he can get is great for him. I mean, it's good in general. It's good for the team to get production and all that, of course, but it's really good for him because now he's got more film of like, okay, I can be the guy if you really need me to be the guy. You know, I may not just be this like number 2 receiver. Maybe I can step into that spot. I mean, George Pickens and T. Higgins are the prototype wide receiver too. They could be ones on a lot of teams. And they, you know, Pickens was the one for Dallas this year for several weeks. And so like those are the prototypes. If Michael Wilson can be 70% of what those guys are, as far as like how amazing they are, he can really make some money for himself. And he's clearly going to have a long football career. And if you've been watching in the last few years, he is, I'm not saying he's the best player or anything like that, but he is a complete wide receiver. He's a good blocker. He's good at certain elements of route running. I think some better than others. He's not Jamar Chase and George Pickens where he's going to catch the ball and go for another 20 yards. It's really not his game, but he does know how to go just destroy a zone. And that's great. And then he'll fall forward. He'll do the kind of like the Larry Fitzgerald, he's always going to fall forward kind of thing. Although there at one point, Larry was also just running wild. So maybe that's not a fair comparison. But no, I'm happy for Michael Wilson. I hope, you know, if Marvin isn't able to come back in the next couple of weeks, I'm hoping he gets another chance to come out and really shine. But again, in the context of this game, it's just more stat padding. So yay, that's great. He had 15 catches. I think Trey McBride had another 11 and another touchdown because Trey McBride loves to get touchdowns now, which is awesome.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, no. So that's good for Mike. That's very good.
Josh, on the positives for Arizona, Josh Sweat also got another sack, keeping him towards the leaders in sacks. But it was a funny game in that is that neither team had any pressure really. There was that one. There really wasn't a lot. There weren't a lot of quarterback hits for either team. I mean, just not a lot of pressure at all, which I guess is somewhat apparent by Brissett having broken the record. But the other thing, and you already pointed out or talked about it for the 49ers, was just where are we starting on the field? When you're starting on the 1 yard line, it's hard to fail. And what you told me a crazy stat that you had heard about if you remember it, tell me again the stat you were telling me about, like at one point in time, the average start position on the field for the 49ers was something wild, right? I don't remember what you had told me.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it was either, to be completely honest. I kind of made up that number earlier, but it was something atrocious. It was like the average starting field position for the Niners at one point in this game was like the Arizona Cardinals 30 or something like that. Like it was just wild. And it was fairly late into the game. This was not like, after that first, obviously after the first one, their average starting position was the 1. But that's just one. So it was really bad. We were setting. It's one reason why you look at the stats and like, wow, the Cardinals had like twice as many yards almost, or 60% more, or something like that. They should totally have been in this. It's like, no, they really didn't. They also had, just may as well get into it a little bit. They also had like 140 penalty yards, which penalty yards are hard to value exactly because a 5-yard penalty is not just a 5-yard penalty necessarily. So if it's a 5-yard penalty that gives you a first down, well, that's another set of downs. You got more than just 5 yards out of that. And if it's it's an offensive holding, that's 10 yards. That's, they lost 10 yards. So that's just 10 yards. So it's like, but there was offensive holding on a 50-yard gain. So penalties are hard to value. They completely throw off a drive. Any rhythm you're in, it just seems to destroy that, especially if it's a bigger one. Like if it's, I don't know, false start, it can, but it seems much more likely on those big, you gained 18 yards on a big, nice little out route. And like, no, instead you lost 10 and now the drive's probably dead. So, the officiating, like, it's strange. The officiating was probably just terrible. It probably was. I've told you this before. To me, there's 3 different kinds of bad officiating. I've probably said it before. I'll say it now, I guess, real quick. There's one is just bad calls, right? You miss a DPI or you make a bad call on one or something like that. That's just okay. Yeah, that's the understandable kind. That's just going to happen. And then the second time is really lopsided penalties, like 17-1.
One team, yeah.
There are too many Hall of Famers out there who will tell you that they could call holding on every single play. So if you're only calling them on one side, that's bad. Now, I'm not saying every game has to be 6-6 or 5-5 or whatever, but I mean, like, it shouldn't be 17-1. Come on. And then the last type of bad officiating is a lot of officiating. Oh, the Denver-Kansas City game. I think there were 10 accepted penalties, and both teams was like, guys, go away. We didn't come here to see zebras do stuff. I mean, no one up in those stands is wearing an officiating jersey, right? So probably you guys calm down a little bit. So yeah, the officiating was really bad, but it's funny. I don't really care. Like, first of all, we did have some discipline mistakes. To be completely honest, we did.
Sure.
So I don't entirely care. It looked like we were going to lose this game regardless. So I don't know why they bothered throwing 17 flags at us, but the officiating was a thing, and it warrants getting into.
Yeah. No, it was a big factor. Like you said, I mean, 140-yard differential between the two teams is a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. Like, talk about things to overcome, right? And then the kind of guys who got you were they predictable too, right? Like, it's George Kittle. You brought that up when we were talking about this game. Was like he's the guy who concerns you the most. To be fair, that pass that he caught, what was that in the very beginning of the game, right? Yeah. First drive, if I recall, it was a great pass. Like, it was a great pass. It was not a great pass. It was a terrible pass.
No. It wasn't the first drive. The first drive was 1 yard. So it was the second drive.
Oh, right. That's right.
I got you though.
And it's like George Kittle goes in, McCaffrey gets a couple touchdowns, but like you pointed out, it's like 1 yard touchdowns are not the most awe-inspiring. And that's okay. I don't know. It was a frustrating game in many regards there. But I guess one question I would have coming out of this, when you look at the Cardinals, do you think that Michael Wilson is going to have some more games? Like, was there a trust, do you think, built here a little bit to say, hey, he's probably not going to have another 180-yard game, right? But do you think that we're going to start seeing him like, hey, he's catching 8, 9, 10 passes a game, he's getting 100 yards a game, and really helping balance more with Trey and Marvin Harrison whenever he gets back?
More than he was getting prior, yes, but not. I don't even know that it'd be 8 or 9 targets. And again, the 8 or 9 may happen again this season, but is it going to happen regularly? Yeah. I don't think we're going to become that pass heavy of an offense all the time. Like the last 2 games, the Niners and the Seahawks game, we ended up down big, 35-10 and 35-0 in reverse order. And so, like, okay, you're in pass only downs. I think what do we have? 36 rushing yards on the day. So it's just, we're just passing like crazy, just pass. And so you're going to get some kind of ludicrous receiving stats paired with that. So I do think we'll see more of him, especially again, if Marvin's going to miss a little bit of time, then obviously we'll see more of him. But yeah, he and Marvin kind of have similar roles as a wide receiver. Like, they're not the catch it in space and run wild kind of guys, Tyreek Hill types. They're AJ Green types where AJ Green could catch it and he could catch it in stride and run wild too, but that's not fair. But like, they're possession guys. And so I don't know that he's going to see tons more for the rest of the year. If he hits 100 yards again for the rest of the year, to be honest, I'll be slightly surprised. With 7 games remaining, if he has more than 500 yards for the remainder of the season, which would be about 70 a game, I'd be very shocked. But I'd be also incredibly happy for him because that'd be huge for his career.
Yeah.
So, but I'd love for him to get 6 targets, 45 yards, and a touchdown in every other game. That would be enormous for his career to be really that guy. So we'll see. I'm again super happy for him. That's cool. Stand-up guy, Stanford, yay, woo. But it's one of those it's a moral victory basically for this game, and I was just like, there's definitely no room for moral victories anymore. So
yeah. No, and I get that. I know it's been tough to see the Cardinals kind of where they are, and with that kind of like where they're going. And we've talked about their schedule. Their schedule is not kind coming up. One of their easier games is the game coming up this next week against the Jags. We'll get into that later this week, but it's I know this one was a tough one, especially against a division opponent and all of that. Certainly did not go. It's a weird game when you come out of a game where you set records that are positive records in many regards, and there's, like you said, there's no moral victory to it. There's no happiness to it. You know, that poor Jacoby was not happy at all. So anyway, we'll see. We'll tie it off there, and we'll head towards thinking about the Jags coming up. But thanks everybody for joining in and helping us suffer through this loss for the Cardinals and kind of where things are. It's only 48 days left until Black Monday. So, have a great day. If you would, please like or subscribe. We're on our way to 200 subscribers. We enjoy putting this all together. So come out and join us again. Have a good one.